Oh yeah. Maybe you want to watch?
See, I knew you could do it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Throughout most of history, the life of a firefighter has been closely associated with the ringing of a bell. As he began his tour of duty, it was the bell that started the shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which called him to duty and to place his life in jeopardy for the good of his fellow man. And when the call had ended and the alarm was completed, it was the bell that rang 3 times to signal the end. And now our brother, John Atkinson, has completed his task, his duties well done, and the bell rings 3 times, followed by a pause. 3 times followed by a pause, and 3 times in memory of and in tribute to his life and service.
First Engineer John Atkinson. First Engineer John Atkinson dispatch. First Engineer John Atkinson dispatch. Black Eagle Fire Department, First Engineer John Atkinson, no response. It is with heavy hearts that the Black Eagle Fire Department says goodbye to First Engineer John Atkinson. First Engineer John Atkinson served the Black Eagle Fire Department with pride and dedication for 20 years. His commitment to the citizens of Cascade County and the surrounding areas will never be forgotten. It has been said that a firefighter never dies, they just burn in the hearts of those that they saved. First Engineer John Atkinson will live in our hearts and will always be a part of who we are. First Engineer John Atkinson of the Black Eagle Fire Department is now out of service, never forgotten. Time of last alarm, 14:01. Go ahead. We have a copy check on your Porsche Northport. Copy. Thank you for the last pour out for Johnny Atkinson. He was a good man and he was a brother. Amen.
Technology's not always perfect, guys. We're working on it.
Yeah, it's there's so many new people there. You don't have these people way back here. Nobody waves at anybody. It's just like he's like
That's all.
Anyone has anything that they'd like to say, we're going to do that. We do have some of our relatives online, so if I put a computer in your face, that's why, so that they can hear. They're all around the country. So if you have any memories that you'd like to share or anything like that, since we're here at the moment, this is the time to do so. Thank you. You got it. Thank you. I'm not going to fight.
So, my name is Mike DeShays. Some of you known me for a while. Jerry, I started out the department. He was on the department before me for a few years before he retired. And then Don Hesse, of course, the rest of the guys here. I was Johnny's chief from 2000, well, when Tommy passed away in 2017 till towards the end of 2019, and then my wife and we ended up buying a house in Cascade, and we moved, and I joined the department out there to keep in the fire service. So hearing of Johnny's passing was pretty tough. I've known Johnny, well, it would have been this August 17 years I've known him. Big loss, big heart. And he'll be definitely missed, but never forgotten. So one of our fellow firefighters that used to be on the department, Beth, made a post on Facebook. And Linda wanted me to read it for you all. She says, "This morning I didn't feel like going to work. Migraine hit me that day before and needed a little more convincing to move on. Still, I got up, put on my uniform and went to work. Not because I'm tougher than a headache or too badass to shriek. I got on the rig because today my brother can no longer serve his community." Johnny was an engineer for Black Eagle Volunteer Fire Department. I don't know how many years he served the community of Black Eagle, Montana, but his loss has been deeply felt by those who knew him. He was a man of few words, that is true, and always slow to anger, very true.
She nailed it.
If he ever got more than frustrated, I can't say I've ever saw it. He took me out for my first time training run on 301, which is it's a 1972 structure pumper with a Ford chassis, 5-speed standard transmission with a 2-speed rear end axle. I ground gears more than a few times and struggled to get it rolling on the first time. But he apparently told me, try again and again and again. And finally, until we finally met with success. And I can concur with that, because 301 is a bugger to drive if you're not very well at a manual transmission. He was a calm spot in the middle of a storm, vigilant, manning his truck and providing support to those of us on the interior or fire line. He wasn't the type to take the glamorous jobs. Instead, he was the reliable support, which isn't always recognized, but it is integral beyond measures, just like him. He moves on, leaving a hole in Black Eagle, and in each of our hearts are those who served with him. May he rest in peace, knowing his brothers and sisters will never forget him. When the tones drop, we'll gear up, climb on the rigs, and head out to assist strangers in need, because that's what he did. We'll carry on in his memory, Beth. And that's what we do in the fire service. When a brother has been laid to rest, we continue the charge to the calls and to help everybody out. And every time we go out for our fallen brothers. Thank you.
Thanks,
The
Chief.
reason I wanted him to read that was she nailed Johnny to a T. You know, so if any of you have any stories, please feel free to share them.
Definitely miss talking to him about Mighty Python and Benny Hill.
Okay, I'll do the best I can. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Linda's youngest sister. For the longest time, Johnny was the only grandson for 8 years until I had my son. So he was surrounded by 7 nieces. That's all he had. Johnny was always quick with his comebacks, his one-liners for us. You would say something, he would always have something to say back to you. He and our cousin, or my niece Kate, were always the life of the party. Kate couldn't be here today because she lives in California and she's quarantined. But I guarantee you, if she could have been, she would have been. Johnny, as it says, was born in England. He was there until he was 2. I was still in high school when he came back, and he would argue with me about pronunciations. He would say it was margarine, and I would say it was margarine. He would say Happy Christmas, and I would say Merry Christmas. And he would say that a fire truck would go nee-nar, nee-nar, nee-nar. And I said, no, it doesn't. It goes wee-woo, wee-woo. And my parents, his grandparents, always liked to camp. And whenever we came home, they would always take the kids camping. One time we were camping, and we told Johnny to get out of the streets because he might get run over. And my mom said he would get squished as flat as a pancake. And Johnny said, "You put syrup on me?" He was just always our life of the party. He always has been. And he's gonna leave a hole bigger in our hearts because there's only me and my sister, and we have 3 brothers. So we were very close, and Johnny is, I don't know, I don't even know what to say. He's just gonna miss very, very much.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry so many of us meet in this way, but John's a heck of a good egg. I've known Johnny when I first came here to Montana, when I came in from Keflavik, Iceland, and his family was our neighbors on base housing. Dad was very busy. But I wanted to get back into hunting, so Johnny, he was in Scouts, and so was I the 4 days. But it was help him and promote him, whatever he was doing. He put his heart into no matter what it was, dedicated to whatever it might be. So I asked him if he'd like to go hunting with me one time. And it was, yeah, let's go. So for years, he was my hunting buddy. And my son Dan, the three of us, you couldn't separate us. He was like my son. One time we was up in Big Sandy up on the farm. And there was a big deer down in the coulee. It was more of a canyon. It was probably a 300 to 400 yard shot. And Johnny and I, my son Dan, we laid down in the bull rustle, and we laid down in the grass and just watched the herd for a little bit. And here this big buck come off the creek bed. And he gets ready with that rifle, a beautiful 308 that I helped him get. And he's ready to shoot, and the deer was still walking. And I says, "Hold it, Johnny, he's taking a dump." And he was just starting, he burst into a laugh and a roar, but he needed that to calm him down because, the Buck Baber, he was just a little on the nervous side, you might say. But he pulled that shot off, and it was almost 3 hours worth of dragging before we could get it to the truck. But he always put his heart into everything he ever did. Another time up on the farm also, old Johnny had a 1-ton Chevy 4-door truck, and I'd stop at the farm. We always stopped at the farmhouse. You associate with your friends. This good sportsmanship. And I was inside visiting with Evelyn Labuda once, and we heard this kaboom. And I says, "What the heck?" So we went back out to the truck. We scurried out quickly, and there's John, sitting in the passenger seat. I said, "Oops!" Is everything okay? He forgot to put the safety on his rifle. He shot the truck. I looked underneath. He didn't hurt the fuel line or anything, so I just put a bolt in the hole, and when I sold the truck, the bolt was still there. But God bless John. He's my closest dear friend. I'm gonna miss him. I already do. But I thank y'all for being here. We're all a little bit older today. Thank you.
I'm Jerry's wife, Bonnie, and I met John same time Jerry did. The only thing he used to do with me is, when we lived in base housing, the window was up far enough that I couldn't see anybody walking in front of the house. I could be doing dishes in the sink, and all of a sudden I'd see a couple of hands come up, scare the heck out of me. Didn't know what it was. It was John trying to get my attention. Or when I put my coat away in the closet, he'd stand there and he'd wait for me to get my coat off to hang it up, and he'd holler, "Boo!" Scare me. He loved doing it. I'll miss those days. I'll miss him. He's a wonderful friend of my husband and family. It's like an extra son we didn't have, as Jerry said. So, God bless you, John. We're gonna miss you. Thank you.
Hi. I was Johnny's Wonder Twin growing up. We were always playing Wonder Twins, and he always let me be the fancy stuff like the water, and I always made him be the dumb stuff like the bucket. And he never got mad at me. He was always a jokester, always trying to get on our grandfather's nerves. And all growing up, we always used to be at a body shop, an auto body shop. They used to fix like semis, and then they would repaint them that had been in wrecks and everything. And one day our grandfather was there, and he got us, this is back in the day when you had the Mountain Dew bottles that you could just open on the machine, and he sets us up in the cab with 2 open Mountain Dew bottles, and he was like, whatever you do, don't pull that right there. Which was the whole, Johnny goes, watch this. And he elbows me, and he pulls it, and it just reverberated and echoed so loud. And Grandpa just jumped up there, and he was just giggling, his laughing. And everything he did, he always tried to get on our grandfather's nerves. They had an old 2-story house, and Papa's chair used to be right here, and the stairs would go down like this, and me and Johnny would sneak up the stairs, and he'd be like, you ready to go do it? I'm like, no. I was scared. He would always go first, and he'd go, Geronimo, and he would slide on down the steps on his butt, and then he'd make me do it behind him. And every time Papa would say, sit back down, we'd run up, and we'd just do it just one more time, just because we had to. But he was like my best friend growing up. We were always together. We were only a couple months apart. I'm really gonna miss him.
No, sir. Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We're here all afternoon. Thank you so much for the support that you've given our family. I live in Las Vegas, and so I'm counting on all of you to be here for my mom and dad, because I can't be in some ways that they're going to need over these next few weeks. So thank you all for loving Johnny so much and being here for him and for my family. And we have food. We can't take it with us. Our hotel refrigerator is really tiny. So eat lots of food. And thank you again for coming. And we know you guys are all going to miss him.